Turns are literally the gateway to becoming the best snowboarder possible. So in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down turns like you've never seen it before. Now this is gonna be applying to you if you are a total beginner or you're actually a pretty advanced rider. There's a lot in this video to make you more awesome. So definitely watch to the end and let's get started. All right, take 1,479. That's how long we've been there. So this is behind the scenes of how really the Tommy Bennett videos go. He's literally sleeping. We've only been here for 14 hours and 7 minutes. So the whole idea of knee steering is to get your board to help you turn. So you have this thing on your board called a radial side cut, which if you just turn your board on edge, it's naturally going to make a circle. So we're trying to use the beginning of the board, allowing us to create that turn shape by the front edge or the beginning of our board to start gripping the snow, allowing us to turn in combination with our body position, allowing our board to do torsional flex. A lot of nerd, but we are trying to find a combination of our body and board working together to make you more awesome. Now you may be asking, why or where would I actually use this technique? And I would say you use it 90% of the time as long as you're not carving. So if you're in the trees, you're in the moguls, you're on steep terrain, mellow terrain, you can use this tactic. And then if you're carving, it's a little bit of a different tactic, but you definitely want to use this, and you can even use this when you're riding switch, which is even more amazing. So in this video, I'm literally gonna break it down step by step by step. So if you wanna follow along at home or the next time you go snowboard, we're definitely gonna be breaking it down. So I'm gonna start off by being in a static position, which means find a nice area where your board can stay on the snow and you're not gonna move around. We're gonna first identify our toe side edge because I feel like that's a little bit more challenging. So we're gonna identify that first, then we're gonna break down our heel side. So our toe side turn. When you're strapped in, whether you're regular or goofy, what I want you to think about is keeping your shoulders, hips, and knees stacked over your toes in a nice athletic position. Now, whether you're regular or goofy, the only thing in theory should change is just where we are looking. So now, for this example, I'm a regular rider, and so what I'm doing is I'm facing uphill, and I want to shift about 60% of the weight into my lead foot. As I'm in this position, I'm mimicking this as we do our next step, so remember this position. Now my goal is to keep my shoulders, hips, and knee over my lead binding. And one thing not to do is somebody will try to shift their hip and they do this. Well, technically my belly button and my balance is over here, but some of my body's there. It's a very contradicting position, so it's not actually useful. So shoulder, hip, and knee over that lead binding. I'm in a nice, awesome position. From here, what I want to feel is that my shin is pressing against the front of my boot as if there's a bug on my heel strap, sorry, my ankle strap, and I'm trying to press my knee over my toe, just like this. So as I stand up and look from a global view, if you can see my whole body, from here, I'm doing this. Notice that I'm not just pressing my let's go. Notice that I'm not just pressing my shin and my lead shoulder staying elsewhere. I still have that lead shoulder hip over that binding, but I'm moving my body together. I am not throwing my shoulder, arms are quiet, and I'm doing this. So as you're at home or practicing, feel the shin press against the front of the boot 10 times, just so you can feel that movement, that engagement, while keeping a look downhill where you're going. So I'm definitively feeling that shin press there. So now let's switch over. For this example, I'm still gonna be on my lead foot, which is a regular rider. Obviously, this still applies if you're goofy or riding switch. So now in this position, I'm once again in a stacked position. 60% of my weight is on my lead foot, and I'm looking in the direction of travel. So I'm in this position. Now this time, I'm gonna kick my hips back just a little bit, but not over exaggerate where I'm like flexing my spine down, but I'm pushing a little bit back, allowing me to make contact with my high back. Now that we have 60% of our weight over our lead foot, which does mean that our shoulder, hip, and knee are all stacked over that binding once again, and I do have flexion in my knee. From this position, the knee steering actually comes from us rotating our femur to the outside of our board. So I'm almost looking to get my knee to rotate and turn towards the contact point of the board, which means the board starts to rise. That's like the contact point. So from there, I'm here and I'm just trying to push my knee. You're also gonna feel that your foot is gonna try to rotate within your boot and within the binding, and you're putting a lot of pressure on the outside of your heel. Now that's all what you're looking for. That's definitely a good thing. So what that's gonna allow us to do is once again, pivot that board and get early edge engagement, allowing us to find the balance of me turning and the board turning. And as I do this, I'm trying to keep my eyes up, looking where I'm going, and I'm almost feeling my back foot slightly pivot out. I'm not trying to pivot my back foot, but more rotate that lead foot. So let's go ahead and do that 10 times, whether you're at home or on the slope. And I'm gonna interrupt real quick. If you guys are interested in supporting the channel or wanna pick up some freaking awesome merch, go ahead and check out shopbenetek.com. So now let's actually start moving and grooving. And this is gonna be step 2. Now we're breaking this up into step A and B, which is gonna be our toe side and heel side. So the biggest thing is you want some sun, thank you, and you wanna find a slope that allows you to point your board straight down the fall line without accumulating a lot of speed. A good indication is, can you point your board down the fall line up to 5 seconds without picking up too much speed and getting uncomfortable? It's definitely a good time. If you are more of an advanced rider, finding a little bit steeper slope, totally okay, as long as you're sticking to these body positions. Don't get ahead of yourself. So what we're gonna do is, the goal is to point our board straight down the fall line. We're gonna count to 1,000, 2, 1,000, and then we're going to press our shin over the front of our boot like we did in exercise 1. Now what is going to happen is the more aggressive you press your shin, the quicker your board is going to turn. If you gently or progressively press into that, you're gonna have a elongated but controlled toe side turn. So I definitely suggest you just feel out both versions, but we're gonna start with just a even pressure throughout the shin so that we can feel this. Now you have to be 60% of your weight on that lead foot to allow this to work. If you are in the back seat, this is not gonna be awesome. So keep 60% of your weight on the lead foot. Now, I'm gonna just cruise down. I'm gonna show you some visual examples and I'm gonna talk through it as we go. Then we're gonna break in heel side. Let's go. All right, so I'm starting on my heel side edge. I have a nice clear area. I will be looking uphill, making sure it's not too busy. I'm gonna point my board down the fall line. As I'm pointing my board down the fall line, I'm getting my weight to be even. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, pressing the shin. And then as I get across the fall line, I wanna even my weight out. Now this slope, I do accumulate speed a little quickly. That's okay, I'm comfortable with it, but again, find the right slope. I'm now gonna turn around and I'm gonna attempt this 5 to 8 times until I truly feel my shin press against the front of the boot. Let's go ahead and do it again. Point my board down the fall line, weight forward, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, press in, and then even out. Let's go ahead and do it again, back to my heels. Now, as we do this for the 3rd time, we're gonna do this a little bit quicker just so we can feel that responsiveness. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, shin, woo! Now, did you notice how quickly I did it? I'm gonna do it for our 4th time, but I'm gonna be very gentle and see if we can elongate this. So we're gonna point our board down the fall line, look around, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, and then I'm gonna shin just a little bit, even out. Awesome. One good indication that my friend told me, big shout out to my friend who wants to remain anonymous, is can you press your shin against the front of your boot while doing this, but wiggle your toes? Now the biggest thing that snowboarders do that I find to be less awesome is you're actually pressing your toes against the front of your boots and you're gripping down like a hawk and you're trying to grab like your dinner. That's not what we're actually trying to do, because that means that you're doing this incorrectly. We should be able to be on the balls of our feet, toes are moving, yet we're still able to get this turn through the technique of knee steering. So I'm gonna challenge you and myself to see if we can do that. Again, looking around, make sure it's a little busy, but I'm safe. I'm gonna look around, I'm gonna point my board down the fall line. 1, 1,000, 2, I'm gonna go a little faster, go around these guys. 3, 4. Oh, that's interesting. So that is a fun little challenge to be able to get on the balls of your feet and to be able to wiggle your toes just a little bit. So now we're gonna dive into a heel side turn. So the goal again is to be 60% of our weight in our lead foot. We're gonna use knee steering. Make sure that you're synced down just a little bit so you have flexion in your knee, allowing your knee to move. If you have your legs long, it's really hard to actually get that knee to shift or that femur to move in the way we need to. So we're gonna point our board down the fall line. You can start from either heel side or toe side. For this example, I'm gonna go heels or start on my toes. So I'm gonna point my board down the fall line. 1, 1,000, shift my weight forward, knee open. I'm gonna do that again. We're gonna point our board straight down the fall line. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, knee and shift. Once again, as I get my board to be across the fall line, I'm evening out my weight and I'm lifting up my toes. Now it's really flat. I can allow myself to think and process. 1 1000, 2 1000, 3 1000, 4. I'm gonna shift this knee and rotate. What I am looking for is to feel the outside of my foot actually helping the board pivot. Notice that I'm not back here trying to do it because it doesn't work. As soon as I'm here, boom. Very doable if you have the right technique. Right here, right here. All right, now we're jumping into step 3. Ideally, what we're gonna be doing is we are comfortable making a isolated heel side and isolated toe side turn, but we're now gonna link them together. Now the focus is still to point our board down the fall line between our turns so that we can process and feel everything instead of just rapidly getting into it too quick. So we're gonna point our board down the fall line, make a heel side turn, toe side turn. I'm gonna talk to you throughout the video. So I am pointing my board down the fall line. 1 1000, 2 1000. I'm gonna go heel side, avoid this group. Point my board down the fall line. 1 1000, 2 1000, knee steer. Point my board down the fall line. 1 1000, 2 1000, knee steer. As I get more comfortable, I'm gonna start minimizing the time between our turns so that it can be 1 1000 so I can make these sharper turns. So now it's gonna start to look like this. I'm gonna go heel side, 1 1000, 2 1000. Oh, that was like 1 1000, 1 1000, 1 1000, 1 1000. Now notice that I am on a very flat terrain, so I'm not able to close my turns, which means that I turn across the fall line. Anytime I turn across the fall line, I'm gonna start slowing down. So these turns are a lot more open or a lot more elongated, allowing me to turn, but I'm able to keep up and manage my speed. Step number 4 is going to be finding more appropriate terrain to challenge yourself. I have steeper terrain right here. Now I'm trying to minimize the time down fall line so that I don't accumulate too much speed. I am now shortening the time between my turns so that I can knee steer, knee steer, knee steer. If you need to stay on step 2, step 3, step 4 for longer, definitely do so. So we're gonna point our board down the fall line and I'm gonna turn. I'm gonna turn. Notice that my spine is upright. I'm not using my arms. Things are very smooth and I'm using my lower body. These turns are very controlled. I can make longer turns with less pressure or elongated pressure, or I can make them really quick. Knee steer. Also, if you can hear it, which is my microphone may or may not be picking it up, there's some really nice soft spots, but there's a lot of ice. Notice that my body is staying over my board and I'm not leaning into it so much. If I were to lean more into it, I would chop out and fall like that because it's icy, it's steep, or that it's gnarly. So I want to be able to keep my knees bent, making those turns just like this. Now you may be asking, why or where would I actually use this technique? And I would say you use it 90% of the time as long as you're not carving. So if you're in the trees, you're in the moguls, you're on steep terrain, mellow terrain, you can use this tactic. And then if you're carving, it's a little bit of a different tactic, but you definitely want to use this, and you can even use this when you're riding switch, which is even more amazing. So if you guys have any questions about any of these steps, come join me on Tuesdays. And definitely put post notifications on, because I do a live stream where I can literally answer your questions. We hang out, we vibe, we chat. It's a great time. So on that note, guys, I hope you like this video. If you feel like I missed anything to add, comment down below, because at the end of the day, this community is about helping each other and making each other more awesome. So definitely let me know, and you're amazing. We're gonna end that there. Bye.